The space station was huge. Jake Harrison looked out the window of his ship as they got closer to Concordia Prime. The station was bigger than any city on Earth. It spun slowly in space, creating fake gravity for the beings inside. "First time seeing something like this?" asked Lisa Martinez. She was sitting next to Jake, looking at her tablet full of trade numbers. "Yeah," Jake said. "Hard to believe we're really here." Jake was the leader of Earth's first team to meet alien traders. He had gray hair and calm eyes. People said he never got angry, even when talks went bad. Lisa was his helper for money matters. She was young but smart about trade deals. Behind them sat Rick Davis and Amy Foster. Rick was a soldier who came to protect them if needed. Amy was a scientist who studied aliens. She had read everything about the 12 races they would meet. "The Concordia Prime Station has been here for over 1,000 years, Amy said, reading from her notes. 12 alien races built it together for trade meetings. Their ship moved through the docking area. Other ships were there too, but they all looked strange. Some were long and thin like needles. Others were round like bubbles. One ship seemed to be made of living plants." "Those must be alien ships," Rick said. He touched his weapon, making sure it was still there. "Remember," Jake said to his team, "we're here to make friends, not enemies. Earth needs trading partners." Their ship stopped at a dock. The doors opened with a hiss. Jake took a deep breath and stepped out first. The air smelled different, clean but with a strange sweet smell. A tall blue creature waited for them. It had 4 arms and big black eyes. "Welcome, humans," it said in perfect English. "I am Guide Veltar. I will take you to the meeting room." Jake smiled and put out his hand. "Thank you. I'm Jake Harrison." The alien looked at Jake's hand but didn't shake it. Instead, it bowed slightly. "Please follow me." They walked through long hallways. The walls showed pictures of different worlds and creatures. Some aliens walked by them. A group of bug-like beings clicked as they moved. A floating ball of light drifted past. 2 rock creatures rolled along the floor. "So many different types," Lisa whispered. "And they all work together," Amy added, taking notes. They reached a big door made of metal and crystal. It opened without a sound. Inside was a huge round room with a table in the middle. 12 different aliens sat around the table, each one stranger than the last. "The human delegation," announced Guide Veltar. Jake looked around the table. He had studied pictures of these races, but seeing them in person was different. The Vortak looked like giant lizards with sharp teeth. The Selenari glowed with soft light. The Kethmore moved like one creature, but were actually many bugs working together. At the head of the table sat the biggest alien. It had 4 arms like their guide, but was covered in golden scales. This was High Trader Zethval of the Keth race. "So," Zethval said, "these are the humans we have heard about. You look very young." "We may be new to space travel," Jake said, "but we're ready to trade with other worlds." Some of the aliens made sounds that might have been laughter. The crystal being called Mortek rang like a bell. The plant creature rustled its leaves. "Of course you are ready," said the floating gas cloud that was Yithran of the Brenthal. "All new races think they are ready." Zethval raised one of his 4 hands. "Let us begin. We have prepared a standard package for your integration into our consortium." A screen appeared above the table. It showed pictures of Earth, along with numbers and charts. "Your world has good metals and water," continued Zethval. "We will take these resources. In return, we will give you some of our old technology." Jake looked at the deal on the screen. His face stayed calm, but inside he felt worried. "What about trade votes? Do we get a say in consortium decisions?" The bug creature Hixtal spoke with many voices at once. "New races observe for 500 years. Then, if you prove useful, you may speak." 500 years, Lisa said. "That's 20 human generations." "Time moves differently for each race," said the bird-like Theshan called Kretha. "What seems long to you is nothing to us." Rick shifted in his seat. These aliens were treating humans like children. Jake studied the deal more carefully. Earth would give away most of its metals, gas, and water. Humans could work in alien factories and mines. But humans would have no power to change anything for 5 centuries. This seems very one-sided, Jake said carefully. All new races start this way, Zethval replied. It has worked for 2,000 years. But what if we want to trade with species outside the consortium? Amy asked. The rock being Dermag spoke in a voice like grinding stones. Consortium members only trade with consortium members. This is the law. Jake felt his team looking at him. This wasn't what Earth had hoped for. They came here as equals, but the aliens saw them as servants. We need time to think about this offer, Jake said. There is nothing to think about, Zethval said. This is how things work. You accept, or you get nothing. The room became quiet. Jake could hear the soft hum of the station's machines. He thought about Earth and its 5 billion people. He thought about the dreams of trading with aliens as equals. But these aliens didn't see humans as equals at all. I understand this is how you've always done business, Jake said slowly. But humans believe in fairness. We believe all races should be treated as equals. More alien sounds that might have been laughter filled the room. Equals. The energy being Luxera pulsed with light. You just learned to travel between stars. We have done this for thousands of years. Age doesn't make one race better than another, Jake replied. Zethval leaned forward with all 4 arms on the table. Human, you do not understand. We are offering you a gift. Without us, your race will stay trapped on one small world forever. Jake stood up slowly. His team stood with him. Thank you for the offer. We will discuss it and give you our answer. There is only one answer, Zethval said. Accept or leave. Jake nodded. Then we'll leave. The aliens stared as the human team walked toward the door. They had never seen a race refuse membership in the consortium before. As they left the room, Jake heard Zethval talking to the other aliens in a language his translator couldn't understand. But he didn't need to understand the words to know they were laughing at humanity. The long walk back to their ship felt different now. The amazing station didn't seem as wonderful. The other aliens they passed looked at them with curious eyes. Sir, Rick said quietly, did we just make enemies of the most powerful traders in the galaxy? Jake looked back at the meeting room one last time. Maybe. But we also kept our dignity. Jake Harrison sat in his small room on the ship, staring at the consortium's offer on his tablet. The numbers looked even worse the second time he read them. Earth would become nothing more than a mining operation for the alien races. A knock came at his door. Come in, Jake said. Lisa Martinez entered with a cup of coffee. Thought you might need this. Thanks. Jake took the warm cup and sipped it. Real coffee might be the only thing we have that those aliens want as equals. Lisa sat down across from him. I've been looking at their deal again. It's worse than I first thought. They want 90% of our rare metals, 60% of our water, and the right to build factories on any land they choose. And in return, some basic technology we could probably develop ourselves in 50 years. Plus the privilege of working in their mines and factories for almost no pay. Jake rubbed his tired eyes. 500 years before we get a voice in any decisions. Jake, Lisa said softly, maybe we should think about this more. These aliens control trade across half the galaxy. If we say no, Earth stays alone. Before Jake could answer, Rick Davis came in. The soldier looked worried. Sir, I've been watching their security systems. These aliens have weapons we can't even understand. Ships that could destroy Earth in hours. If we make them angry. Amy Foster appeared in the doorway behind Rick. May I come in? I have something important to share. Of course, Jake said. Amy sat down and opened her notebook. I've been studying the other races in the consortium. Do you know how they all joined? They accepted deals like the one we're being offered? Lisa guessed. Exactly. But here's the interesting part. I found old records. Every single race started with a deal just like ours. And you know what? Most of them are still stuck in the same position after hundreds of years. Rick frowned. What do you mean stuck? The Draxi have been junior members for 300 years. The Thessians for 400. Once you're in the bottom position, they never let you move up. The only races with real power are the original 4 who started the consortium. Jake felt his stomach tighten. So this isn't really a path to equality. It's permanent slavery. That's what it looks like, Amy said. And there's something else. I've been listening to communications from other ships here. There are dozens of smaller alien races that aren't part of the consortium at all. The consortium won't trade with them. Why not? Lisa asked. Because they refused deals like ours. So the consortium ignores them and takes their resources by force when they need them. The room became quiet. Outside their small window, Jake could see the massive station spinning slowly against the stars. So our choices are become slaves or become victims, Rick said. Jake stood up and walked to the window. Maybe there's a third choice. The others looked at him. What if we don't need the consortium? What if Earth makes its own trading partnerships? With who? Lisa asked. You heard them. Consortium members only trade with other consortium members. But what about all those smaller races Amy mentioned? The ones the consortium ignores. Amy flipped through her notes. There are quite a few. The Altari, who are peaceful farmers. The Karathi, who are good at moving things quickly through space. The Zenti, who make beautiful art. The Vamari, who are excellent engineers. Races the consortium treats badly, Rick added. Jake turned back to his team. What if instead of joining a system that treats everyone unfairly, we start a new system? One based on fairness. Lisa looked unsure. Jake, that's a huge risk. We're just one small world. So was every great nation on Earth when it started, Jake replied. America was just 13 small colonies when it declared independence from Britain. Rick smiled for the first time that day. And Britain was the most powerful empire in the world back then. But this is space, Lisa said. The consortium has thousands of warships. They do, Amy agreed. But they're used to everyone being afraid of them. What if someone wasn't afraid? Jake felt something growing in his chest. Hope, maybe. Or determination. I need to call Earth, he said. 20 minutes later, Jake was talking to President Kate Sullivan through the quantum communicator. The president's face appeared on the screen, looking tired. It was early morning in Washington. Jake, how did the meeting go? Not well, Madam President. They're offering us a deal that would make Earth a colony, not a partner. President Sullivan's face grew hard. Explain. Jake told her everything. The unfair trade terms, the 500-year waiting period, the way other races were trapped in bad positions forever. When he finished, the president was quiet for a long moment. Jake, what do you recommend? I recommend we politely decline their offer. And then what? Earth can't stay isolated forever. We make our own trading network with smaller races the consortium has ignored or mistreated. Is that possible? Jake looked at his team. They all nodded. We think so, Madam President. It won't be easy, but neither was building democracy on Earth. President Sullivan thought for another moment. The consortium might see this as an act of war. They might. But giving in to bullies never made bullies nicer. All right, Jake. I trust your judgment. But if we're doing this, we're all in. No half measures. Understood, Madam President. I'll start preparing things on this end. You handle things there. The call ended. Jake looked at his team. Well, he said, I guess we're about to make history. Or become history, Rick said, but he was smiling. Either way, Amy added, at least we'll do it as free humans. Jake walked back to the window. The alien station still looked impressive, but now it looked different too. Not like a symbol of power he wanted to join, but like a symbol of oppression he wanted to change. Lisa, start making a list of everything Earth can offer in trade. Not just raw materials, but ideas, art, technology, food. Already on it, Lisa said, typing on her tablet. Rick, I want you to study their military setup. Not to attack, but to understand how they think about defense. Yes, sir. Amy, keep researching those smaller races. We're going to need allies. What about you? Amy asked. Jake straightened his shoulders. I'm going back to that meeting room. It's time to give High Trader Zethval our answer. An hour later, Jake stood again in the consortium meeting room. The 12 aliens looked at him with expressions he couldn't read. Have you considered our generous offer? Zethval asked. Jake's voice was calm but firm. We have, and we must respectfully decline. The room exploded with alien sounds. Clicking, buzzing, ringing, and other noises Jake had no words for. Decline. Zethval's 4 arms waved in the air. No race has ever declined membership in the consortium. Then I guess we're the first, Jake said. You are making a terrible mistake, human, the crystal being Mortek chimed. Without us, your race will die alone in space. Maybe, Jake replied. But we'll die free. And maybe we won't die at all. Maybe we'll find a better way. Jake turned and walked toward the door. As he reached it, he stopped and looked back. If you ever decide you want to trade fairly with equals instead of ruling over servants, Earth will listen. Until then, we'll make our own path among the stars. The door closed behind him with a soft whisper. Behind that door, 12 of the most powerful beings in the galaxy sat in shocked silence. For the first time in their long lives, someone had said no to them. And they had no idea what to do about it. 3 months had passed since Jake Harrison walked out of the consortium meeting. Now Captain Lisa Chong stood on the bridge of the Earthship Pioneer, looking at a small blue planet through the main screen. That's their homeworld? Asked Ben Rodriguez, the ship's chief engineer. According to our scans, yes, Lisa replied. The Altari live there. The Pioneer was Earth's newest exploration ship. It was fast and built for making friends, not war. Lisa commanded a crew of 50 humans, all volunteers for humanity's new mission, finding trading partners the consortium had ignored. Captain, called Helen Price from the communications station. I'm getting a signal from the planet. They want to talk. Put it through, Lisa said. The screen changed to show a face that looked almost human, but with silver skin and large blue eyes. The being looked scared. Unknown ship, please identify yourself. Are you with the consortium? Lisa stepped forward. I'm Captain Lisa Chong of the Earth vessel Pioneer. We're humans. We're not part of the consortium. The alien's face showed surprise. Humans. We have heard of your race. You refused to join the Great Alliance. We did. We're looking for species who might want to trade fairly with us. The alien was quiet for a moment. I am Council Leader Thara of the Altari. Please, come to our world. We would like to meet these humans who said no to the consortium. 2 hours later, Lisa and her team stood in a beautiful garden city on the Altari homeworld. The buildings were grown from living plants, and the air smelled like flowers. The Altari people looked fragile, but their eyes held deep sadness. Your world is beautiful, Lisa said to Council Leader Thara. It was more beautiful once, Thara replied. Before the consortium came. They walked through the city center. Lisa saw empty spaces where buildings used to be. What happened here? The consortium wanted our rare crystals. We said we would trade some, but not all. So they took what they wanted anyway. Ben Rodriguez looked around at the damage. They just stole from you? They said it was payment for protection services we never asked for, Thara explained. This happened on many worlds. The consortium takes what it wants from races too weak to fight back. Lisa felt angry, but she kept her voice calm. What if you didn't have to face them alone? Thara stopped walking. What do you mean? What if small races worked together? Shared protection and trade. The consortium would never allow it. The consortium doesn't control everything, Lisa said. Not yet. That evening, Lisa sat with Thara and other Altari leaders around a table made from a single piece of crystal. Tell us about Earth, Thara said. Lisa showed them pictures of Earth cities, farms, and oceans. We're not the strongest or smartest race in space. But we believe all species should be treated fairly. Even weak ones like us? Asked another Altari leader. Especially species like you. Strength isn't just about big weapons. You've created beauty we can't even imagine. That has value too. The Altari leaders looked at each other with their large blue eyes. What would this partnership look like? Thra asked. Lisa pulled out a tablet showing her proposal. We protect each other. We trade fairly. We share knowledge. And most importantly, we all get equal votes in any decisions. Equal votes. Thra seemed shocked. Even though Earth is bigger than our world, size doesn't determine worth, Lisa replied. Every race brings something special to the table. The next morning, the Altari agreed to join what they called the Friendship Alliance, though Lisa and her team just called it the Human Trade Network. Over the next 2 months, Captain Eric Thompson in the ship Horizon made contact with 6 more species. All had been hurt by the consortium in some way. All were interested in a fairer system. The Karathi were master pilots whose ships could move faster than anything the consortium had. But the consortium had enslaved half their people to work as crew on consortium vessels. The Zenti were philosophers and teachers. The consortium had stolen their libraries and sold their knowledge without permission. The Vamari built amazing machines, but the consortium forced them to make weapons they didn't want to make. Each race brought something valuable. Each race had been treated badly by the consortium. And each race was excited to join a system where they would be equals. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Director Tony Clark worked day and night setting up trade agreements. President Kate Sullivan met with Earth's best scientists and engineers. We need to offer our new partners something the consortium can't, the president said during one meeting. Like what? Asked Dr. Amy Foster, who had returned from the consortium station. Innovation, said Admiral Steve Parker. The consortium is old. They do things the same way they've done them for thousands of years. But humans think differently. He was right. Ben Rodriguez developed new ways to grow food in space. Helen Price created communication systems that worked faster than consortium networks. Dr. Amy Foster found ways to heal diseases that consortium medicine couldn't cure. But the consortium was starting to notice. High Trader Zethval sat in his private office aboard Concordia Prime, reading reports that made him angry. Human ships had been seen near 12 different star systems. Races that had never caused trouble were suddenly refusing to pay consortium taxes. This is intolerable, he said to his aide. The humans are stealing our rightful trading partners. Should we send warships? The aide asked. Not yet. First, we teach them a lesson. Zethval called a consortium war council. The 12 races gathered around their meeting table once again. The humans are becoming a problem, Zethval announced. They are turning our trading partners against us. I told you we should have forced them to join, growled Grakthor, the Vortak war leader. Perhaps we can still convince them, suggested Yithran, the gas cloud being. Show them what happens to races that oppose us. The Altari homeworld would make a good example, clicked Hixtal of the insect race. But Zethval shook his head. Direct attack would make the humans into martyrs. Other races might join them out of fear. We need to be more clever. What do you suggest? Asked the crystal being Mortek. We cut off their supply lines. Make trade with them impossible. When their new friends start suffering, they will abandon the humans quickly enough. The consortium began its plan immediately. Any ship carrying goods to human allies was stopped by consortium vessels. Any race caught trading with the human network faced heavy fines. Within weeks, the plan seemed to be working. The Karathi couldn't get fuel for their ships. The Zenti couldn't sell their art. The Vamari couldn't get materials for their machines. Captain Lisa Chong received an urgent message from Council Leader Thara. Captain Chong, we are grateful for your friendship, but the consortium is making life very hard for us. They have blocked our trade routes. Our people are starting to go hungry. Similar messages came from all the human network partners. Lisa called an emergency meeting of all the ship captains. The consortium is trying to starve our friends into submission, she told Eric Thompson and Sam Turner over video link. What can we do? Eric asked. We can't fight their entire fleet. Maybe we don't need to fight, Lisa said slowly. Maybe we need to think like humans. What do you mean? Sam asked. Lisa smiled. I mean, maybe it's time to show these aliens what human creativity really looks like. That night, Lisa sat in her captain's chair, making plans. The consortium thought they could win by using the same old tactics they'd used for centuries. But they had never fought humans before. And humans had never been very good at following other people's rules. It was time to change the game entirely. Captain Sam Turner looked at the consortium blockade ships through his telescope. 3 large alien vessels floated in space between his ship and the Karathi homeworld. They were there to stop any trade with the human network. "Sir," said Lieutenant Mike Foster from the communications station, "they're demanding we turn around immediately." Sam smiled. "Tell them we're just exploring. Nothing to worry about." The consortium ships moved closer, trying to look threatening. Their weapons were bigger than anything on Sam's ship, the Horizon. But Sam wasn't planning to fight. "Begin Operation Distraction," Sam ordered. On the other side of the star system, Captain Eric Thompson in the Pioneer did something that made the consortium ships very confused. He started broadcasting human music at full volume. The songs filled space around the Karathi homeworld. Rock music, jazz, classical, and country music all mixed together in a wild sound that had never been heard in this part of the galaxy before. "What is that noise?" demanded the consortium ship commander. "It appears to be some form of human communication," replied his aide. While the consortium ships tried to understand the music, something else was happening. Small Karathi ships, moving very fast and very quietly, slipped past the blockade. They carried food and supplies from other human network worlds. The consortium ships never saw them because they were too busy trying to decode human music. This scene repeated across 12 star systems. Every time the consortium set up a blockade, humans found a way around it. At the Zenti homeworld, Captain Lisa Chong used an old Earth trick. She had her ship broadcast false signals that made it look like there were 20 human ships instead of 1. The consortium ships spread out to watch for all the fake ships, leaving gaps that real Zenti vessels could slip through. At the Vamari homeworld, Ben Rodriguez had built special devices that made consortium ships' computers think they were seeing ghosts. While the confused aliens tried to scan empty space, real supply ships moved freely. "These humans fight like no one we have ever encountered," Admiral Thekmore reported to High Trader Zethval. "They do not follow any known military tactics." "Because they are not using military tactics," growled war leader Grakthor. "They are using tricks and games." "Tricks that work," Zethval replied angrily. "Our blockades are useless. These humans make us look foolish." But the humans were doing more than just running blockades. Dr. Helen Price had been working on something special back on Earth. "President Sullivan," Helen said during a video call, "I think I found a way to change everything." "What is it?" Helen smiled. "A new type of faster-than-light communication. It's 10 times faster than anything the consortium uses." The president's eyes grew wide. "How?" "Human quantum research combined with Althari crystal technology and Karathi speed calculations. None of our partners could have done it alone, but working together. We've created something revolutionary," the president finished. Within days, the human network had communication speed that the consortium couldn't match. Orders could be sent across the galaxy in minutes instead of hours. Trade could be coordinated in real time. But more importantly, news traveled fast. Word spread quickly about the new alliance where all races were treated fairly. More and more species wanted to join. The Thyrani were master farmers who had been forced to sell all their food to the consortium for almost nothing. They joined the human network and started selling to whoever paid them fairly. The Gorveks were builders who had been making consortium space stations for centuries without getting proper credit. They joined the human network and started designing beautiful new cities. The Meloth were healers whose medical knowledge the consortium had stolen and sold. They joined the human network and began sharing their healing arts freely. Each new member made the network stronger. Each new member had skills that helped everyone else. Admiral Steve Parker watched the reports coming in from across human space. "Madam President, we now have 43 species in our network. That's more than the consortium ever had. How are they reacting?" President Sullivan asked. "Not well. Their profits are down 60%. Some of their own member races are asking uncomfortable questions about why they don't get treated as fairly as species in our network. The consortium was indeed having problems. Races that had been loyal members for centuries were starting to complain. Why do the Altari get equal votes in their alliance when we have been consortium members for 400 years and still have no voice? Demanded the Theshan representative. Why do the humans share their technology freely when you make us pay for every small improvement? Asked a Draxi crystal formation. High Trader Zethval found himself facing angry questions from his own people. The humans have been in space for less than 1 year, he told the Consortium Council. We cannot let them destroy everything we have built. Then what do you suggest? Asked the energy being Luxera. Direct action. If we cannot starve them out, we must crush them. War leader Grakthor showed his teeth in what might have been a smile. Finally, I will prepare the battle fleet. Wait, said the plant collective Velthera. If we attack the humans, other races will see us as aggressors. We could lose more support. We are already losing support, Zethval snapped. At least this way we end the threat quickly. But before the consortium could act, Captain Lisa Chong made an announcement that shocked the galaxy. Standing on the bridge of her ship, with representatives from 20 different species behind her, Lisa spoke into a camera that broadcast to every world in known space. People of the galaxy, she began, for too long, a small group of powerful races has controlled trade and treated smaller species unfairly. Today, that changes. The human network is open to any race that believes in fairness and equality. We don't care if you're big or small, old or young, strong or weak. We only care that you treat others with respect. To species already in the consortium, you don't have to stay trapped in unfair deals. There is another way. To the consortium leadership, we're not your enemies. We're just offering a better choice. Join us in building something fair, or continue ruling through fear. The choice is yours. The broadcast ended, but its effects spread across the galaxy like wildfire. On consortium worlds, people gathered in public spaces talking about what they had heard. On independent worlds, leaders called emergency meetings to discuss joining the human network. Most shocking of all, on the consortium station Concordia Prime, lower-level workers from various races began asking their leaders uncomfortable questions. High Trader Zethval watched the broadcast 3 times, his 4 arms shaking with rage. They dare challenge us openly, he said to his council. They mock thousands of years of consortium rule. The humans have made a mistake, War Leader Grakthor said. Now we can crush them without looking like bullies. They have declared themselves our enemies. But not everyone agreed. The floating gas being Yithran pulsed thoughtfully. Perhaps we should listen to what they are saying. Our profits are falling. Our member races are unhappy. Maybe the humans have ideas worth considering. You suggest we negotiate with these primitives? Zethval could hardly believe what he was hearing. I suggest we think carefully before we act, Yithran replied. The humans have surprised us before. Zethval looked around the table at the other consortium leaders. Some looked eager for war. Others looked worried. A few looked thoughtful. For the first time in his long life, Zethval wasn't sure what would happen next. And that scared him more than any human weapon ever could. The consortium war fleet was the largest anyone had ever seen. 500 ships of every size and type moved through space toward the Altari homeworld. High Trader Zethval had decided to make an example that would end human interference forever. This will show the galaxy what happens to those who challenge the consortium, Zethval told War Leader Grakthor from his command ship. But the humans were ready. Captain Sam Turner sat in the command center of New Geneva Station, humanity's first permanent space base. It floated in the same star system as the Altari homeworld, protected by ships from 20 different species. Sir, reported Lieutenant Mike Foster, consortium fleet approaching. They'll be here in 6 hours. Sam nodded calmly. Begin Operation Unity. Across the galaxy, something amazing happened. Human network ships didn't run or hide from the approaching consortium fleet. Instead, they did something no one expected. They invited everyone to watch. Dr. Helen Price's new communication system broadcast live video of the approaching battle to every world in known space. Billions of beings across hundreds of worlds watched as the consortium's massive war fleet moved toward a small group of defenders. People of the galaxy, Captain Lisa Chang's voice came over the broadcast, you are about to see the difference between the old way and the new way. On consortium worlds, people gathered around screens. They had been told the humans were dangerous rebels who wanted to destroy galactic peace. But they saw something different. They saw Altari children playing in crystal gardens while consortium warships approached their world. They saw Karathi families hiding in underground shelters. They saw Zenti elders praying for peace while consortium weapons targeted their cities. This is what the consortium does to races that want fairness, Lisa continued. They bring overwhelming force to crush anyone who